Good morning, Catherine. How are you?
I'm well. How are you this morning?
Doing good. Catherine Rainbolt is an alum of DU, and Catherine also helps run the marketing program at Tattered Cover. So for those of us who grew up here, Tattered Cover is the holy grail of books. It's awesome. So it's a fantastic opportunity for myself to talk to Catherine about what's going on at Tattered Cover. And I'm going to start by asking this unbelievably open-ended question, right? So what does the future of Tattered Cover hold? Because we've got all these challenges between COVID and we've got people hitting the orange button and just getting everything sent to them. And so, I'm curious, what are your thoughts about how Tattered Cover addresses those challenges?
Yeah, so brick and mortar retail is struggling in general right now, but we don't think it's going anywhere. It's just going to evolve. And the way that we're going to evolve is really by doubling down on community. So we are a place for community to come together. We provide community, and then we dive deeply into the needs of our community within Denver and in Colorado. So we want to be a place where people can come and connect and learn and leverage all of those literary treasures that we're
Yeah.
known for as a bookstore. But we have to be more than a bookstore. We have to provide a service and an experience and truly become synonymous with community.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you talk about, the term book nerd is thrown around all the time, but there's obviously very specific genres, right, of book nerd. So
Mhm.
my daughter's a book nerd, but if I said, if a business, she'd be like, I'm not reading a business book. So do you have communities that you think offer more opportunity and maybe have more passion, or are you still trying to figure those things out?
So it's interesting because we have our greater community, which we are actively engaging with in Denver, and partnerships and community conversations, and really engaging in those challenging topics like school testing and environmental sustainability. But then we also have communities within the Tattered Cover family already,
Hmm.
based on those genres most times. So it's around sci-fi, romance is a really popular genre. So we've definitely dove into those specific genres to create communities and a space for them to create community across book clubs. We're trying to find a way to bring that community connection virtually through social media as well.
Sure. Yeah.
And then also, though, how do we connect to new communities who are our same demographics, our same targets? For example, like board game players. So people who play board games and love board games,
Yeah.
how do we get them into the bookstore? Is it just by offering board games, or is it by providing a game night or providing a space for them to play those games? I mean, there are other communities besides just romance readers that we have to connect with in order to stay relevant.
Awesome. So is that, and are you, for those of you watching this outside of Denver that may have never been to Denver, Tattered Cover's kind of a staple since the dawn of time. It's awesome. And it's under new ownership, which is fantastic. And I think, is the goal, I mean, I'm sure if I, asked you this question, just said, so is the goal to be outside of Denver? You're like, we will take sales from anywhere it happens. But I mean, is there plans to kind of solidify Denver and then move on our beyond our borders, or is it the goal to stay local?
We're a local institution. That's our bread and butter. We rely on the shop local trend and tradition, and we are Colorado, and we need Colorado. So for us, our stores, we've got our Loda location, which closes soon, and we're moving to McGregor Square. We've got a location down in Aspen Grove. We're opening in Westminster. So we've already begun to expand within the Denver metro area.
Yeah.
I would say outside of that, who knows? Um, but right now, our home is Denver and our home is Colorado. That being said, our increased digital presence and ability to capitalize on web orders has
Yeah.
naturally expanded our reach. But we also have a lot of people who come to Denver and their first stop is Tattered Cover on vacation. We're a vacation destination in some ways. And so we're also trying to build that up and really become that destination.
That's an awesome point, because when I think of Denver, having grown up here, I think of, Red Rocks, I think of Casa Bonita, I think of Tattered Cover, I think of Bojo's Pizza. It's like there's like, 5 to 10 places that you're like, oh, if you live there, you need to go to these places.
Mhm.
It's interesting too. So the ability to embrace communities online. So there's lots of, hundreds of thousands of subreddits and, BookTube, et cetera. I mean, I think that there's lots of opportunities to do that. And I don't know, it's interesting. I think in a lot of ways, book nerds
Mhm.
deeply care about their community, and they look at Amazon and they go, you facilitate a need. You're a habit. You're not, I'm not loyal to it. It's a habit, right?
Mhm.
So I'm curious to see. The other one too is there's a new location opening up, which I think is awesome. So tell me and us about where that's happening and when.
So we're actually opening two new locations. So our Lodo store, which is on 16th and Wynkoop, is moving. It's closing down this month, and then early May we're moving to McGregor Square,
Nice.
which is right across from the Rockies Stadium. Our location is actually on the corner of 20th and Wazee, right there. It's at the point. It's a
Yes.
big, beautiful, modern space, which is an interesting twist for us because it it has
Yes.
to embrace the evolution of our history. This year is our 50th anniversary. Tattered Cover
Wow.
turns 50. And that Lodo location, though not the original, Cherry Creek is the original, Lodo has that charm and that atmosphere that you expect of an independent bookstore. It's got the creaky floorboards and all the mahogany bookshelves, and it just has that vibe that you're looking for when you go into a bookstore.
Yep.
And so, how do we translate that in a modern space? What are the opportunities there to
Yeah.
really blend the tradition with what is truly looking like New Denver?
Yeah.
And yet maintain that ethos and that spirit that we're known for in the old space. So it's been an interesting challenge, but we're really excited about the new
That's
space.
awesome. We actually, so my family and I were in the Lodo location about a month ago. And we were looking for kind of books, kind of the art of Studio Ghibli. And so they've done something smart, which is they break it out by movie, which makes more sense. We were looking for like this, massive book. And the woman who helped us was, I think this. The secret sauce, I think, is the people that you have.
Oh,
She
yeah.
knew more about what was going on and helped us to the point where I was like, I felt bad because I'm like, if you have other customers, which is interesting, that's kind of a retail thing these days, which is, I should hand you off to someone else. And it's like, no, wait a minute, I'm getting more value out of this, right? So this is like more than the orange button. So we were pretty happy. My daughter was like, wow.
That is the crux of who we are. It's our staff, it's our book buyers, it's our booksellers, it's our ability to curate
Mm,
for larger communities and also the individual. We
yeah,
can't forget that the really wonderful thing about Tattered is going in, having a one-on-one experience with a bookseller who is the biggest and most passionate book nerd you could possibly meet, and they're going to help you find the perfect book for you.
nice.
Not an algorithm based recommendation necessarily, but truly something that you might not have discovered. It's not just the top titles, it's not just the best sellers. It's, have you tried this? Let's
That's
explore
awesome.
this area. And it's a way to expand perspective
Yeah,
and provide that experience, because we do not win on margin, we do not win on convenience.
yeah.
We win on experience and personal connection and a relationship.
Agreed, 100%. So the location by Lodo opens when?
McGregor Square opens early May. As construction timelines go, that's as close as I can give you at the
Yeah, no,
moment.
and that's perfect. Yeah, I know anybody in construction gives me a date. I'm like, okay, I'll do the math. So
Yeah.
what's the second location?
The next location is in Westminster. So they're redeveloping that mall area into a really interesting community there. They're trying to build the new downtown Westminster. So you have retail, you have a hotel, you have apartments, you have townhomes. They're really shifting the gravity of downtown Westminster. And so
Yeah.
we're excited to have another kind of prime corner location in that space. That will be later in the summer. We're thankfully not necessarily opening two stores back to back from my perspective. So we have a little bit of breathing room, but we're excited to get that up and running too.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, Catherine, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you.